guideline number 13 from the PL 21 guidelines for living a happy life. Okay. Number 13 is a very interesting one. It's related to food. So I think we all have some association with this one in one way or another. Now this is a rather long one. With food, I will not have any complaints, likes and dislikes, or preferences. Also, I will not overeat, overdrink, or eat irregularly. So there's a lot of points in there. And that's understandable because food is our survival. If we don't eat, we can't survive. And with the problems with obesity and diabetes and other things, I think society as a whole is beginning to realize how important this is. Although many times people just neglect it and don't worry about it, just eat the regular things they're used to eating without even thinking about it. And that's the problem. Now in here we have likes and dislikes or preferences. Now, likes and dislikes can be preferences too. But those are separated because likes and dislikes are very strong things we have to talk about. Then preferences refers more to, like, if somebody likes their carrots cooked so that they're orange rather than yellow, that sort of thing. Or their eggs are watery when they're boiled rather than being a little bit harder boiled. Those are preferences to differentiate between likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes can be a thing that can really cause a lot of problems, can cause ulcers, and people can be really ill-looking, just that their stomach is not too good. They're always complaining about their stomach pains and other problems, weak stomach. The examples that were given on those for those two are very good. Likes have several cases from Japan. One man who was looking very white and anemic all the time, didn't seem to have any energy, and even had a yoshi to try and discover what the problem was. But at any rate, in cases like that, often they had to talk to the family members. The ministers talked to the family members to find out. And the family members always knew right away what it was. So they asked them, do you have any likes about food? Oh, I like everything. Yeah, so they can't think about it. And in this one particular case, with this man who was having all those problems with the stomach, it turned out that during the war years, it was hard for him to have sweets, candies, and various things like that. So he kept a special drawer that he kept sweets in, starting in the war years when he had to stash them away to make sure he had some all the time. But he continued that into his life after the war until he was quite old. But this was what was causing his problem. But he wasn't recognizing this until it was pointed out to him. And even then he would say, he was all right for a while. The minister told him about this and he understood it and everything. Oh yes, I understand, I want to be well. And so he started to look not too bad after a while. But then he went visiting people and people would offer him treats. And he went back again to the same old thing, and the minister said, well, what's happening? And he said, well, I think it's rude when I go to people's places and they offer candies and things like that, and I reject them. Isn't it polite to accept? And the minister's response was, well, if you want to lose your stomach, go ahead. That was enough. He decided that he would stop doing this. And apparently he improved within a few weeks after that. It's also the same with dislikes for certain types of food, that people push things aside on their plate and don't eat them. And in cases like this, too, it can be almost like anger if people push things aside on their plate. And because of the fact that food is provided from God for all of us, when people do that, the result is almost like a strong anger. And people can suffer greatly from that of various types of stomach illnesses and cancers of various types. if they have the strong dislikes, because in some cases it's so strong in their minds, it's like, why are you giving me this? So there's no respect for the person who's preparing the food for them or the food itself. And so the results over time can be extremely strong for people. Various diseases and physical problems, twisted intestines and things of that nature. So we have to be very careful about that. So dislikes and dislikes. Preferences, as I was saying, there's a slight separation there because preferences is more of wanting things not so salty or not so sweet, and being very strong about that. Even though things may be all right as far as health is concerned to consume the food, it's their preference that they prefer not to have it that way. And we know of some cases that people have been so strong, particularly with their wives who have been cooking the meal on that. And that's like neglecting the person who's preparing the food. So there's very strong negative results from doing that. I will not overeat. We all know about overeating and overdrinking. And there's just so much information out there about this now. And particularly foods and things without the proper nutrition. And the thing is also when you're looking at liking, there again it's nutritional things because they like something so much they're neglecting the proper things. There's some people in Japan that really like pickles. You know, the Japanese pickles, there's just so many types of them. And one woman was even having a cupboard of these things, and all the family knew it. And she was having health problems as well related to that. But as soon as she had consultation about the situation, she got rid of those, and her health improved to normal. And eating irregularly. We see this often with salespeople, eating irregularly. That they start developing large guts and things, even though they're not eating excessively. If they're eating at 6 o'clock one night, and then because of the fact they have to see a client at 6 o'clock, they won't eat till 11 o'clock the next night, the stomach can't take that. Likes to be regular. And you're piling a lot of food on as well before going to bed, in some cases, if you're eating late. So that can affect you as well. So there are all these things that we should be considering with food. It's very important for our health. It's not just the nutrition of the food itself. You can have the best food in the world, but if you have likes and dislikes or other preferences, overeating, overdrinking, eating irregularly, you will still have a lot of problems. And unfortunately, many of these things are not focused on when we talk about obesity and diabetes and various other things, but they should be discussed. So anyway, we have to remove the burden from our stomach with these various things and learn not to have complaints about food in any manner and appreciate food. That's the main thing. And it's one of the reasons too why when I do grace before the meal is to appreciate what we're receiving. So anyway, this is something that's very important. I think that everyone should know about the aspects of food other than nutrition. It's not just nutrition, it's and how we receive the appearance of food. So something to think about for the future. Thank you.